What's up everyone, this is Chris, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be working on the E39 M5 Wagon and I'm really excited because today we're going to be putting the heads on the motor and then the motor is going to go in the car and then we're going to have it timed correctly, I promise you, and we're going to show you how that's done. And then finally, once the car is timed correctly, we will have it started and hopefully be able to drive it soon. So I'm really excited, it's been a long journey with this car. And without further ado, let's get right to work. I'm gonna stick up the camera, you guys are gonna follow along, and then when we get to the important part, I promise you, I'm gonna show you how to time this motor. So let's get to it and let's get this car started. So here you have it. I have the motor about to be timed and I'm going to show you guys the easiest way that you can master this. And we're going to kind of do this the way that you would do like an S54 timing procedure. So what we've got is the chains all installed. The crank is at top dead center. Our camshafts are locked top dead center. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find the first sweet tooth to install. And because I've got all these loose, it helps me install this. But the sweet tooth, as they describe it, is the first tooth on the Vanos that it will actuate with. So if I have the Vanos completely out and I twist it all the way to the right, that's literally me twisting it, boom, all the way to the right, this tooth, it engages on perfectly. Now, you can find that tooth pretty easily because it's basically going to be the first one before you get further away from it. So the further you move to the right or the further clockwise on this helical gear that you move in this gear, the more that you're going to have to turn that Vanos unit. And the way that you know that is because the one that is to the left of the sweet tooth has a lot of turn. So look, this is the one that's to the left of the sweet tooth. And look at how much you have to turn it before it goes in. And so look at, you try to push that Vanos in and look at how it only comes flush. Now we move it over just one. And then look at that. On the first gear, it'll go in and it'll go all the way in. All of that depth. So really take your time to find the sweet tooth and just remember, I would maybe start going to the right. So when you're trying these positions, I would turn it counterclockwise. Try that position. It's going to get further away. And keep trying the positions that are the furthest away until finally you get one that's literally like butter. And that is the sweet tooth. So we've gone and done that on all of these. And I tell you what, it's a good feeling when all of them just go in so easily. So now once you've got the sweet tooth on all four of these Vanos adjusters, you want to start the procedure of tightening these down. And these are supposed to be torqued to, I think, 10 Newton meters. Now when you tighten these 6 bolts down, that is what sets the starting position of your camshaft to be able to move away from. And so we're going to make sure that we have the starting position at the very front of the rotation. So basically you see this line right here that's touching the top of my fingernail, and right here, that's what the Vanos unit is going to be touching, and it's going to be basically flush on, and that's what we want our Vanos helical gear to be flush on as well. And you can see when it's flush, just a little bit of these gears are poking out. So that's how we're going to set our Vanos, with just a little bit of poke everywhere. And that means that the Vanos is going to be at the beginning of its movement. and we'll be able to advance all of the camshafts forward from this position where it's locked, and that will mean proper timing. So that is the mistake that we made in the last video. I think what ended up happening was I had installed the Vanos helical gears, and this one was pushed in more. And then, of course, when we tighten that down, then the camshaft actually had room to go backwards in timing, and that was no bueno. That's what caused the mistiming, and that is what bent all the valves. But you know what? We learned from our mistakes, and at least now we have a better understanding of the motor. I get to show you guys all of this, and it's just part of the journey, guys. So now we're going to go ahead and put this motor back together. The timing cover is on, the valve cover is on. We'll get this motor into the car, harness connected, all the valve bodies, all the throttle bodies and all that good stuff, M5 stuff, and hopefully get this car started. Update, we've got most of the harness installed. As you can see here, everything except for the fuel rail, which I'm going to leave disconnected. Yeah, we have a lot of things connected here. Our ground's good, our power supply's good, our DME's connected. A lot of the accessory stuff isn't set up yet, so like the lines for the power steering don't even have a radiator yet. Not going to put the belt on because we don't want anything to start pumping dry, but we do have all of our oil lines connected, so we should be ready for a test start here. The next thing we need to do is using our 10mm, we're going to go ahead and connect the battery and check the codes and see if there's any surprise codes or anything that maybe we forgot to connect. So let's get that battery connected. I'm going to check our oil here. Looks like that is plenty to start it. Of course, that oil level is going to go down when we do start it because it has to fill up the oil filter housing and all the oil lines and stuff. Guys, I just want to say thank you for watching. I am just so nervous. I feel like everything has kind of come to this point. So key comes on good. That looks good. I heard the throttle bodies opening and closing. That's a good sign. Let's go ahead and connect our little scanner right here, and then let's clear some codes and see what comes back. Should just have a couple disconnects for the MAF sensors, but let's see. So looking at the codes, doesn't appear to be anything to worry about yet. It actually cleared the code since our battery was disconnected for so long. So we're gonna dry crank the motor first without the fuel, and that way we'll be getting oil in all the passages. And then Goose, once all the oil is in all the passages, we're gonna hook up the fuel and we will start the motor, and hopefully it runs good. As long as it runs good for about a minute, then we're going to proceed and put the rest of the motor together. I have to say, it sounds a lot better. It sounds good. Sounds like it's got compression. We'll let the starter cool down a little bit. I think we should try to crank it until this oil light comes off, because that's the oil pressure light. So we're gonna maybe try to crank it another 30 seconds cold and see if that oil pressure light will go away. I don't think they're meant to go away generally at idle or at starter speed, because starter speed is slower than idle maybe, but yeah, we're just gonna make sure that we have oil everywhere, and then we will connect the fuel and I think start this thing. Well, as you can see there, the oil light did go off. That's a very good sign. That means we have successful oil pressure everywhere in the motor. Let's go ahead and hook up our fuel, open the garage door, and see if this thing starts. All right, big success. Startup went 100% perfectly. It looks like the first time. I'm gonna check the codes now and see if there's anything up, but it sounded like it was timed correctly and it was running good. A lot better than the first time that we got it running. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put together the rest of the cooling system, the power steering system, the brake system, and we're going to continue on get this car driving. Wow, I haven't seen this spot empty in so long, and this feels so good. Yes, I did drive away with my seat still on the top of the hood. And over there, forgot what that is, but we're gonna have to pick that up. Otherwise, car is running out of the garage. Needs a good brake flush. The brakes are still a little spongy. But there it is, folks. Running and driving. So you know what they say, the proof is in the pudding. We have the wagon in our garage, actually in the other spot now, so it's a little closer to the toolbox. So maybe we'll be able to get things fixed faster from now on. But I'm really excited to continue on this journey with you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching, for all the likes, the subs, everything, guys. This has been a huge journey, and this has been a big milestone in this episode as well. So if you want to see more BMW content, E39 M5 touring build is still in progress, I'll tell you that. Tons more stuff to do on it. Or we've got this E46 behind me. I've got E36 in my front driveway. I love these cars. I love building them. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And stay tuned for the next episode because we're going to be driving this car down the street a little bit better. We need to bleed the brakes and take care of a couple other things. But I'm really excited. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and we will see you next time.